Hello everyone, welcome to another shave video. So for today's shave I'll be using Declaration Grooming Unscented. This is actually a tester base, so it was sent to me for testing, but it's basically the same thing as that unscented one you can buy right now. The brush today is AP Shave Co. Synbad or Synthetic Badger, and I have my Wolfman WR-2 1.15mm with a fresh Personna Red blade in it. I have about, I don't know, maybe 20 hours of growth. You guys probably can't see it because just like you guys like matching soap and aftershave, I like to match my beard color with my skin color. That's why it's kind of difficult to see. Anyway, so I'll show you how I lather this shave soap, which is one of the reasons I'm making these videos. It doesn't take me as long to lather when I do it off camera, which is most of the time. It takes me about 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes with a synthetic brush. Actually 2.5 minutes with this brush, but today it might take a little bit longer than that. So I'm starting with a moderately wet brush, not a super wet brush. This Declaration Grooming looks like starting as a little bit of bubbly, not too much messy, but a little bit of bubbly leather. I'll add a little bit of butter. When I say a little bit, it's actually quite a bit, not just a few drops. Should be enough, but I'll load a little bit more. I always want to make sure that if I make a mistake, I want to make the mistake of loading too much soap instead of less soap. A little bit more water. Again, when I add water, it's more like half a teaspoon than a few drops. I never measured it, but that's what my guess would be. It should be good. So what I'll do is that I'll wet my face. And transfer this lather into my face. This is more like a 70% down lather than a proto lather. This isn't as dense as what you would say a proto lather is. It's more hydrated than that. Let me fix the camera again. Should be. Right now it's a little bit pasty or like a really heavy cream. So every time what I do is that I take like again half a teaspoon of water and then I can't show this. Then I drop them on my brush. This should be good. Maybe I can add a little bit of more water. You know what? Adding more water is always a good idea. I don't really know how dry my skin is. As far as I know, there aren't any standardized tests. So I always wonder when some people say that I have extremely dry skin or very sensitive skin, tough coarse beard. I wonder whether they have access to some sort of standardized test, like you go to a place like a doctor or some place that you say that hey, how thick or coarse my beard is. And I feel like they all go to the same doctor, all the people online, because everybody has thick and coarse beard and extremely sensitive skin. So I don't know, because I haven't been to such a doctor. But sometimes, especially in the winter times, I do have to take a little bit of care of my skin. So I don't want a dry leather. I want a leather, you see, this little bit. It's almost starting to drip down my neck. And when I wipe it off, it doesn't leave powdery white residue on my skin. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, so again, this razor is the Wolfman WR-2 1.15. I have used this razor quite a bit, maybe 20 times before. I'm still not sure whether I want to keep this or not. I'll explain why. This is one of the razors which I feel like it feels less aggressive than it actually is. I definitely added less water than I should have, but anyway. And what happens with those kind of razors is that I have a hard time giving myself an alum burn-free shave, which I'll explain again later. One of my favorite aggressive razors, I should say, is Blackbird, which feels extremely, one might even say, uncomfortable, but it isn't uncomfortable, it just has a weird feeling. As if it's going to, rip apart your skin. What happens is that because of that extremely, what I call, honest feedback, I never get any post-shave irritations or nicks or cuts or anything with Blackbird. Anyway, since I added a little bit less water than I should have in the first place, I'll add some more water and work my leather a little bit. We aren't perfect. Sometimes we mess things up. It's perfectly fine to add some water. In fact, I recommend adding a little bit of water in between passes, because water is constantly evaporating from your brush, from your leather and whatnot. So you want to keep things hydrated. Water is your friend. With this razor, I don't feel any discomfort in the first two passes, nothing at all. I mean, I don't think I can say that there is one other razor I like better during the first two passes, and absolutely no discomfort. Fairly efficient, not the most efficient, but fairly efficient. Anyway, about this soap, which is something I want to talk about. You know, I have this humongous list of soaps that I call Elite, which is like 20 to 25 soaps. The reason I call them Elite because the shave that I get from all these soaps are Elite. But still I can differentiate between a very good soap and an excellent soap. This happens to be an excellent soap. One of the reasons is that, so I try to stretch my skin a little bit here when I shave my mustache area. It's impossible with this razor. And I have tried to do a full pass with a straight razor with just the residual thickness. I did it. I finished it perfectly. I'm not saying that you should have to buff or and the residual thickness is extremely important, but it is there. Impossible for me to stretch my skin. I'm just basically trying to press it down. Nothing's really happening. It's slipping. I'm not really good at comparing extremely great bases. Like, they're all so good, it's hard to pick one from another. But if I go by memory, this would be the best soap in terms of residual thickness. I'm fairly confident about that. Yeah, across the grain pass is really, my beard kind of grows sideways, like from here to here. So this is mostly an across the grain pass for me. I can totally do a full pass with the slickness that's left on my face. It's just so good. There are other great soaps, obviously, like Zeberson, Holy Cow, Grooming Department. Oh, it's Grooming Depth, sir. What else? Noble Order is good. Mike's is one of my all-time favorite. Mystic Water is my second favorite soap base. Yeah, there are a bunch of them. They all have excellent residual sweetness in my opinion, but this I think is a little bit better than everything else. I'm fairly positive. My advices in the video is mostly aimed at the new people, for whom, especially some of them, like there's this guy who lives 70 miles from me. Mostly for him, because I don't want to sound like a guy who preaches a lot. So I started making these videos to better explain things to him. So what I want to say is that whenever in doubt, like should you add more water or less water, just add water. Water is your friend. And all of my favorite soaps today, I want to say most, but I will just go ahead and say all of my favorite soaps can take an insane amount of water. Now with this razor, this is the pass that It's not like 100% comfortable for me. It's comfortable, not just 100% comfortable. So one of the tricks I follow to shave my neck is I try to stretch it as much as possible and then use the lightest possible touch. This is my trouble spot. So the beard kind of grows from here to here, like from Adam's apple to my earlobe. So I'll try to go against the grain here. I'm stretching my skin as much as possible and then using extremely light touch. With this soap, it's a little bit difficult to stretch, but there's this straight razor video by Lean Abrams, a super nice straight razor video. Even if you don't do straight razor shaving, you should watch it, where he does move his skin around a little bit from here to here, so that like when you're trying to shave this part of your skin, like let me just use some alum block and yeah, so do this so that this skin moves in the middle. This will help you pick up those extremely stubborn. Yeah. So with an alum block, I just dried my finger a little bit. This helps to get those extremely stubborn pieces of beards, whiskers. If you ever, if you ever thought about whether there can be a soap that is too slick for you to, properly use, this might be the one. It's just so slick, it's almost impossible to stretch my skin. Anyway, since we are touching on a bunch of topics, so I like a little bit of blade overhang, and this is why. So after every shave, what I do is that sometimes I don't, but I like to do this. So I just take apart my. You see, there is some glue or some soap scum that's left in the razor. So I just run it under a little bit of water, and then put these things back. Also, as you have seen that I shave under my nose, I like in all sorts of direction. I have never cut myself with this a little bit of overhang. I think it's a good design. I think Gillette knew what they were doing. Anyway, now finally, I don't use alum on a day-to-day basis, but when I'm trying to figure out whether a razor or blade combo is for me or not, I use an alum. This happens to be one of those razors that I'm not sure about keeping. So what I'll do, I'll take this alum block, run some cold water on it, and then So I've got some burn over here, some over here, surprisingly nothing here, which is my most trouble spot. Nothing on the left side of face. So yes, and then what I'll do, I'll immediately rinse my face off with some cold water. I don't do this to disinfect my face. I don't do this for any post-shave benefits. And I've found that just a 5-second application of alum doesn't really dry my face that much, as long as I'm using a good soap, which this one is. And then I put back my alum. I only do it whenever I'm trying a new razor, or a razor, or a new razor and blade combo. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you probably know that I don't really like to match my soap scent and aftershaves. Today, however, I picked an aftershave which I think goes really well with this unscented Declaration Grooming soap. I think this aftershave goes with every other soap that I own, just like every other aftershave that I own goes with every other soap that I own. So I'll be using Australian Private Reserve, man, I'm gonna fuck this name up, Fougere, Trois, I don't know, FT. So I'll be using this one. Also, I wanna give a quick shout out to this thing. So when I first heard about this, that there is a shave diary where you can, in 2019, you can log your shaves, I found it really funny, like, who's gonna do that? But then I got this free as a thank you note from Maggard for being a Edge member, and it's really cool. So you have this fields where you can fill up your daily shave. You can't see, but there is this razor, blade, soap, and etc. icons. And on every other page, I thought it's just one page, but actually in every other page there are cool artworks, like old Gillette or some other razor patents. For example, this one is, I can't read this. Yeah, this is Toggle, for example, Gillette Toggle. So yeah, this is a cool piece of thing that I never thought that I would like, but I actually like it. I haven't started using it, but I will. And you know what they say, if you can talk to your mama, you can talk to your diary. So anyway, thank you very much. 24 minutes, man, that's a long time. I hope you guys haven't watched this full thing. Even if you did, I'm sorry. Thank you.